So nature is not a structure of event. Nature is but a structure of event. So there is a structure to it. And we should note that the structures are stationary, at least in some minimal sense. Otherwise, I can't think of any other way to conceptualize structure. So structure is something which is to a certain extent stationary, static, if not in an absolute term, but at least in some minimal, at least relative terms. And that goes back to the main problem. You can't think of motion if you don't have the concept of station, for example. Concept of unless you have a concept of motionlessness or inertness or inaction or immobility, it's hard to think of motion. So that's why nature is therefore nature is not a static fact situated in an atonic void, but a structure of events. The structure, to my mind, does conjure up the motion or a notion of stillness or immobility or non-movement. What about events? I think for the word event is important here because event is something which takes place or happens. So it's not out there. So it's happening. So in a sense, it's a motion from not being there to being there. So it involves state 1 and state 2, but also process. That's why he goes on to say that but a structure of event processing possessing the character of continuous flow. Okay, so it's a flow of events there. So flow of events, flow of happenings, occurrences. And that flow is continuous because otherwise you would have a void or a gap. He doesn't like gaps, because if there are gaps, then there's no motion. So it's continuous in that sense. So in that sense, when we talk about event, even that is an abstraction because events are always happening, process is always there, and something new things are coming and going back into something, I guess. So there might be a void, but he doesn't like void. But it's more like unfolding because there's no void. So that actually gels well with Hegelian. So we can think of this continuous flow he's talking about. We can think of the continuous flow he's talking about as unfolding of something which is already there. Creative possibilities within the heart of Geist or whatever it is, the world, power, etc. So it's a continuous flow, and so probably by structure what he means is a process. That whole, in a sense, the structure is our understanding of this unfolding, which is continuous. Okay, creative flow, which thought, and it is thought. Okay,